Hello viewers, as promised, this December I'm going to be recording tutorials about HTML lessons. Now today, 5th December 2024, and it is heading to 15 hours or 3 p.m. I'm going to start off with HTML with my first lesson. Now I'm going to be using this folder here. It is renamed HTML lesson 1, and at my channel it's going to have a cover photo that is going to be looking like this. Now this is the cover photo that is going to describe my first lesson of HTML. There are going to be many lessons, but today's lesson is about introduction to HTML. Now what is HTML? HTML is a standard text-based markup language that can help a computer user design a website or design a web page. Whenever we go to internet, we view web pages, but most of the web pages have the HTML language in the back end. Now with the programming language, any programming language you could encounter, there is a back end and there is the outputs, what is expected to run from the back end. The back end is the language. Now straight away I'm going to kick off with HTML lesson 1. Okay, now in these lessons you're not going to require anything like an additional software. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be teaching followers or viewers using a normal notepad program that comes along with Windows. If I press the Windows button and then I type a notepad, we're going to be requiring only that notepad program that comes along with Windows, and we're not going to require any additional software to help us study HTML. Now this is my take with HTML. If you're a beginner with HTML, you only need notepad. You may not need additional softwares that could help you somewhere. You could need those softwares when you're at least okay with HTML language. But if you're a beginner from scratch, I beg you learn all the language from scratch. So you're going to need Notepad. I'm not going to download it. It comes along with Windows, and you could also need Google Chrome. At times you download Google Chrome, but if you don't have Google Chrome, you may need an Internet Explorer that comes along with Windows, or you may need a Firefox that could also be at your computer, or any kind of search engine or a browser. It can help you run your code where need be. Okay, straight away I want to open my folder I'm using, and we start on this. Now in my folder I can right click and then I go to new, then I can locate a text document. It is also Notepad. I can locate a text document and then I can open it. I can rename it as lesson 1 lesson1.html. that is the extension of it, lesson1.html. Then I can open it and start my coding. That is one way of opening Notepad on a computer. Now if you don't want that way, I can delete that, or I can recycle it. Then I can go back to the start button and I type Notepad, and then I just open it and I just give it a location of my folder. Now my folder, in this case, it's right here. It is HTML lesson 1. So I've just opened the Notepad from the start button, and I can just click at file, then I can go to save as, and then I give it a location. Under desktop there is a folder I'm using, and it is called HTML lesson 1. I can open it, then I can rename my text document as lesson 1.html. And then under save as type, I can select all files. Then I should just ensure that I'm at desktop and I'm in my folder, I'm using HTML lesson 1, then I could just click save, and then if I close this, I can just open HTML from here, then my text document is already here. Now that is the best way of saving a notepad into your folder when you're coding for the very first time a web page or a website. And in all my videos, I'm going to be using that method of saving, and I hope that you've seen how it is done. Now you should mind, I could even repeat it once more, you should mind the saving process, because if you don't save appropriately, your code may not run in the search engine. Now I said I opened Notepad, then I went to File, I chose Save As, then I locate Desktop, I open my folder renamed HTML lesson 1, then I give it a name, lesson 1.html. The extension is so important, and all files here is also so important when you're saving your text document. I'm calling it a text document because, of course, like I said in the beginning, HTML is a text-based markup language that can help you design a web page. You simply write texts that can all help you run a web page or develop a website. Now this is it. I've opened Notepad and it is empty. Now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start typing my HTML language, and whatever I'm going to type here is so important whenever we are doing coding with HTML. Now this is the basic code or the first code. Now when I'm typing the HTML code, I can open the tags. The tags are on the keyboard. Now you mind how I'm opening the two tags. I'm opening them by holding shift, and then I'm pressing the less than sign and the greater than sign. Then in the middle of the tags I type HTML. So I've opened the tag of HTML, and the syntax here, or what we follow here, whenever you open a tag, you close a tag. That is so important. And like I said, I'm using Notepad, that's a normal version, and it could not even identify the mistakes I'm making. I suggest that we use this Notepad because we are learning from scratch. We need to type the code from scratch so that we learn the entire HTML program. After learning the entire HTML code, we can use other programs that can help us, design websites easily, like Expression Web, like WordPress, like Notepad++, like Visual Studio Code. I at times use Visual Studio Code. It is around my computer somewhere here. Anyway, I think I uninstalled it. But I use Visual Studio Code at times when I'm coming up with a very big website. But for a beginner, it's better you learn everything from scratch. Now, having opened the HTML tag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it. Now we open a tag by hitting the less than sign and the greater than sign. Now they're no longer called less than and greater than signs here, they are called tags. So we're going to be calling them tags. I've opened the tags and then I type HTML as a language. I'm communicating to the system that, I'm now writing the HTML language. So having opened the tag, I can close the tag by using this structure. If you look at my screen, I've opened the tag HTML. This is how we open a tag, and I have closed the tag HTML by the slash. The only difference between the two tags is the slash. Now the slash means I have closed the tag. If you don't see a slash like the first one, that means the user has opened a tag. Now having typed all this, I think you saw what I did. Having opened the tag, my cursor was here, I pressed enter. Enter pushes me to the next line. If you look at my notepad, it is communicating that, you're at line 2. And indeed I'm at line 2. If I was here, notepad is communicating that, you're still at line 1. So I'm pressing enter so that I go to line 2, then I close the HTML tag. I've closed it. Now that's the right way of opening HTML and closing HTML. Now, some of the mistakes you can make when writing the tags is this. If you type like as if you're typing a Word document, you see what I'm doing? HTML, then you close, then you type again HTML. You see, I'm already making a mistake of not closing. So avoid that way of typing. You type by opening the two tags at once. Type HTML in the tags, press enter, open the tags again, type the slash HTML, and then go in the middle of the tags. Now, where is the middle of the tags? The middle of the tags is where you see the cursor. Where you see the cursor is the middle of the tag. So I'm going to press enter, and then I'm going to be pushed to the middle of the tags. Now I'm in the middle of the tags. I'm going to even open the head tag. Now if I'm talking of opening the head tag, if you've been capturing what I meant with HTML, you now know how to close the head tag. Here we are. Press enter, open the two tags, slash, don't forget that, then you type head. So I've opened the head tag and I've closed the head tag. Yes. And again, I can go in the middle of the head tag, then I open another tag called the title tag, and then I close the title tag. Now you mind about the spellings of what you're typing, like heads, like title, you mind the spellings. The spellings could affect your code, but what doesn't affect your code is the case. Even if you have uppercase, even if you have lowercase, but when your spellings are right, your code will really run. Now I've opened the HTML tag and I've closed it. I've opened the head tag and I've closed it. I've opened the title tag and I've closed it. You mind where the tags are. If you put the title tag anywhere else apart from within the head tags, your code may not run. So mind where you put a tag. After watching this video, you could practice where those tags should be. Now at the bottom of the head tag, if someone says at the bottom of the head tag, they mean that you come at the bottom of the head tag, not within. Now within the head tag we already have the title tag, but at the bottom of the head tag you click at the end of the head tag where you closed head tag from, press enter and open another tag that is called body. After opening body, I can close body once again. That's how we close tags and that's how we open tags. Now I've opened the body tag. That is it. So after opening the body tag, I'm going to press enter. You see where my cursor is. Before pressing enter, you mind where your cursor is. Now my cursor is in between the two body tags. I'm going to press enter 2 times. 1, 2. When I press the enter key 2 times, the machine is creating space within the body tag. The space is created because I want to type something in the body tag. Now according to all these tags, the HTML tag, the head tag having the title tag within, we can decide to type a title of a website. I can rename the title of the website as lesson 1 for beginners as my title. So it means that my title is going to be captured as lesson 1 for beginners. It is within the title tags. You mind where you type lesson 1 for beginners. You don't type lesson 1 inside these greater than and less than signs. You just type it within the title tag. Now at first it was like this. At first the title tag was empty. It was like that. Now what I did, I clicked within. I can even use the arrows of the keyboard to get to what I want. Then I type a title as lesson 1 for beginners. Lesson 1 for beginners. Now that is my title and it's going to be active at my web page I will run. Now I've opened the body tag and my body tag is going to have at least 95% of what appears in my web page. So the body tag is one of the most important tags in a web page. Actually, it is the most important tag in the web page because it's going to shield whatever that is going to be found in your website. So within the body tag, I'm going to type hypertext markup language. As an example, I'm typing about something, hypertext markup language in web design. Hypertext markup language in web design. Now I've typed the tags, the head tag, the HTML tag, the title tag, the body tag, and indeed the body tag has some text and the title tag also has some text. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try and run this code in a search engine. I see how my machine is going to behave. Okay, so if I want to run my code, I'm already typing it in Notepad and I want to run it. It's already in Notepad and I want to just run it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just ensure that I've saved. I'm going to click at File, then I click at Save. If you don't want that, you can use a keyboard shortcut Ctrl+S. It can save your code. And I'm going to go to the folder I've been using. I'm using this folder HTML lesson 1, and I'm going to right click at this, open with. I always prefer opening my codes with Chrome, and I'm not saying that you only open codes with Chrome. You can open it with Explorer, with any search engine you see around, but I prefer opening it with Chrome at my computer. So if I click at Chrome, Chrome is going to load and my result is going to be visible in Chrome. So while Chrome is loading, I expect my result to be visible in Chrome. Now you don't close Notepad when you're running your code. You do what I did. So you don't close this and then you think of running the code because you're still writing the language. Maybe if you're done writing the language, you can close, but do not close when you're still writing the language. Like right now, I'm still writing the language. Now, having typed something, you see what happens at my Chrome. My Chrome has loaded a page, and here there is a title, Lesson 1 for Beginners. And if I look at my code, the title was displayed here, Lesson 1 for Beginners, under the title tag, of course. That is why it is also visible in the title of the page that is running. Now this one is called a path, a file path. That whatever I'm doing is at local disk C, user's account called Marvin Kasozi, then on the desktop, and then I'm doing HTML, lesson 1, etc, etc. This one is just a path. And here, what runs is what was visible in the body tag. That's why previously, the last something like 5 minutes, I said the body tag is so important in HTML. Actually, it's the most important tag because it houses what is mostly seen at a web. It houses what is mostly seen at a web page. Now, whatever we see in a web page, like an example, we've already seen this. Now, this one is appearing in the body tag. If I want, I can even pick my Notepad again, then I can hit enter and type something. Let me type something like meaning of HTML. So I've typed something like meaning of HTML. Having typed something in the body tag, I'm going to save Ctrl+S, and then I'm going to go back to my Chrome. I refreshes this. Now you see, after refreshing, I'm having something additional here, meaning of HTML. Now whatever that is visible in the body tag is going to be visible in the web page that I'm running. Now that is it with the basic code of HTML. If you're a beginner, if you don't move along with my speed, you pause a bit and then you see what I'm doing, or you could have somewhere you're noting, etc, etc. Now my body tag is now covered, and yes, that is what I can share with you about the beginning codes. Now the last part of the tutorial is Of course, this is just a beginning code. We're not going to do a lot of coding. We're going to just follow levels when we're studying this for this month of December. But I had a plan of showing you how to break the lines and how to put some attraction in your work. Now, having studied the basic code, I have my code here and I have my output here. That is what you're supposed to do. You don't close Notepad. You should have your code and you should have your output here. Now, you see, my page is just white. My page is just color white. But again, I may not want my page to be white because white may seem normal, may seem in normal color. You could want to change your color of the page to some other attractive color. Now, if you want to change the color of the page to some other attractive color, you're going to go under the body tab where I opened the body tab from. I think I opened mine from here and I closed it from here. You go to where I opened the body tab from. I'm pressing space and then I type big E. I want to use caps. Now, if you decide to use caps in your tags, it is better to use caps all through. If you decide to use lowercase, it's better to use lowercase all through. I think that's better for uniformity issues. Now, big E color. I've typed big E color. You mind the typing, you don't leave space. It is big E color, meaning background color equals to, in quotes, I want a gold color, so I'm going to type in quotes. I'm putting gold in quotes because gold is text. Text can go in quotes. Even in the Excel we do, the if functions, the database we do, the text is always in quotes. Auto numbers in database, etc. So I've put gold as a color in the background, and I'm going to try and run, and then I see what happens at my work. Ctrl S, and then I click at my Chrome. You see that the color is now changing to gold. Wow, gold looks like something in the sort of red, in the sort of yellow. Now that is gold. If you need any color, you can put any name of a color you may want, and it could be displayed at your page. If the color is not displayed, it means maybe there's a wrong spelling with what you've typed, or maybe the color is not captured by the machine. But in most cases, most of the colors, if you type them correctly, it can run the color you've typed. Now that is the color of gold, and it is running at my page. Having typed the gold color, some other users can even continue to this. I've left the gold color, then I'm heading to this other area. I can put text. I can even decide to give my text color. I can give text color brown. Let me see how brown fits in gold. Equals to brown. Text is equal, in quotes, brown. Save. And then I run this. You see my text is changing to brown, but again I'm saying brown is freezing. It's disappearing within the gold color. I could adjust this to something like red so that my color is seen. And I'm saying red is also not that clear. I would maybe decide to go back to black. Ctrl S. Okay. Now that is how we put a color at a page of a website, or that's how you put colors at the text of a website. Now, if you don't want to put color at the text, you can stop at the color of a page. Ctrl S, and then I just have my normal black color at the text. Now you see what I typed: HTML markup language in web design, meaning of HTML. Now those words are just seen, but they're not normal. It's better for me to have a word in the center and to have meaning of HTML maybe broken to the next line slightly. Now it's what I want to do so that I can have that better look of my results. Now I'm going to go back to my code, and then I see what to do with the heading. I'm going to start with the heading of before I go to the heading, let me put meaning of HTML to the next line. I could decide to break it. I can use a P. I can put a P in the angle brackets. I can put a P. Actually, in the tags, not angle brackets. I can put a P, and then I can save. I see how the P affects. I'm putting a P in front of meaning of HTML because I want to affect meaning of HTML. That's why I'm putting a P at the front of meaning of HTML. I don't put a P anywhere else. If I want a P to affect meaning of HTML, I put it in the front of meaning of HTML. If I want a P to affect hypertext, I put it in the front of hypertext. So I put it at the front of meaning of HTML because I want it to affect meaning of HTML. I'm going to save and I'm going to run. I see how it affects it. It affects it by pushing it to the next line. Now the P means a paragraph in HTML. Some people can decide to use a BR. BR means break. It can also help you, but I always prefer a P because of the space. A BR doesn't create ample space, so I always prefer using a P if I want the ample space. Okay, hypertext markup language in web design. Hypertext markup language in web design. Now back to my code. I can decide to put hypertext markup language in web design in the center because it's the heading. I should put it in the center, then I can type some small information about HTML. Then that will be all for today. Now if I want to put hypertext markup language in web design in the center, I'm going to just go back to my code. You don't close the code, you leave the code open because you're still making changes at it. Now, like I said at the P, if you want to affect text, you put a tag in front of the text. So I want to affect hypertext markup language in web design by putting it in the center. So I'm going to put a tag in front of hypertext markup language. So I'm going to click at the start of hypertext markup language, and then I put a code that can affect it by putting it in the center. So I'm going to affect it by putting it in the center by simply opening the tags. Then I type center. I've typed center in the tags. Then even here, I'm going to open the tags center, and then I type center. You mind about the center spelling and you mind about closing. I have closed, and here I've opened. Now, like I said, Notepad does not correct you where you have the mistakes. Programs that correct you where you have a mistake are Notepad++, Visual Studio Code, and some other programs. But this one here, you're doing everything from scratch. And for beginners, it is better you do everything from scratch so that you can really do the learning process effectively. So I've opened the center tag in front of the hypertext markup language web design because I want to affect it, and I've closed the center tag exactly at the end of the word I want to affect. I don't close the center tag. I may not close the center tag from here because it's going to affect the entire text. I'm closing it from only this. I only want to change this, only this, because it is the text I want to put in the center. That's why I'm opening the center tag here, and I'm closing the center tag here. So having typed the center tag, I'm going to save, Ctrl S, and then I'm going to click at the refresh feature of my web page, and indeed it is in the center and it is affected. Lastly, I'm going to type something about HTML in my codes. I'm going to type something about HTML in my code. If you're really following me, you know where I'm going to click. You should know where I'm going to click. Guess what? Do I click here? If you're with me, you're saying no, because here, if I type here, it means my text is going to be on top of hypertext markup language. Do I type here? No, I don't, because this is the head tag. It's where I close the head tag from. And I'm in my body. I want to type under meaning of HTML. So if you're with me, you know that I'm supposed to be typing under meaning of HTML. So do I type here? Yes, I do. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to press enter. Then I type something to do with HTML. So if I have something I want to type about HTML, I'm going to just click at the bottom of meaning of HTML. Then I do some typing. I can type hypertext markup language brackets HTML is a text-based approach. Text-based approach to describe how content is contained within an HTML file. Full stop. I can stop there. Now when you're typing, your notepad may kind of change the look because you're pushing your line to this side, and you could have to just adjust the notepad you're using so that you see whatever you're typing. Now I've typed something, and before I even do anything to it, let me save Ctrl S. Then I go back to my Chrome. Yes, it is running, but it's supposed to be under meaning of HTML. So I need to put it under meaning of HTML. Now back to my code. Depending on what to put under the meaning of HTML, I want meaning of HTML to be on top. Then from hypertext, I want it to be pushed to the next line from hypertext. Now back to my code, I'm going to just click at the beginning of hypertext. I don't click here because actually this may work. I don't click anywhere else because I want to push hypertext markup. I want to start from this when I'm pushing down. That's why the P is going to be put at the very start of the work I've typed. So I'm going to put a P in the tags, then I'm going to save, then I run. Now you see it is now pushed to the bottom of meaning of HTML. Now that is it. It has been pushed, but I'm saying it is better all my work is at the center. It's better all my work is at the center. So back to my code. If I want to put my work in the center, you know that we use the center tag. You saw it already at the heading. I could just introduce a center tag somewhere here. I could introduce a center tag here. I could type center, mind the spelling of center, and I could close it from here because I want my entire work to be in the center. I've opened it from meaning of HTML because meaning of HTML is here. I want this to be in the center from this up to file. I want all that to be in the center. That's why I'm opening the center tag from meaning of HTML, and I'm going to close it at the end. Somewhere here at file. So I've closed it. I'm going to save, and then I refresh. I see how it works. Now that is it with the beginning code. Glad that we have started HTML lessons. This is the code that does it all. If you're able to take a screenshot for practice, it will be a good practice. More codes are coming. I'll post a video about HTML at least every after 1 day or 2 days, maximum 3 days, because the December month should cover a lot of codes to do with HTML. The feedback about HTML I've received good enough. We have started with HTML, and it's better, and I'm glad this video, the videos or tutorials are going to help you. So that is the code that has output this. This is the result, and this is the code. Now after writing all my code, I can use a Ctrl S feature on the keyboard. Then I can close the code, and I can close the folder I've been using. I can even close the result here. and I can even close everything on my computer. I'm using this to record, I still need it. Now back to my folder I've been using. You realize that this is the actual result I'm holding, and it is it's of a size of 324 bytes, approximately 1 kilobyte. Now if I'm running, I want to see whatever I've been doing, I can right click at this, then I select open with, then I can go to Notepad, and then I see my code. Indeed, this is my code I've been doing. I can put it down, then I can right click at it, open with Chrome, then I see the result of the code. Now that is how things run in HTML, in Notepad, and in the search engine I can use to run my code. Thanks for viewing the video. I'll be doing more videos about HTML, and that has been all for lesson 1 HTML. Lesson 2 on the way. Lesson 1 is complete. Please study lesson 1, give it time, so that when I post lesson 2 you will be able to move along with me. Thanks all. Good afternoon. Bye bye.